It's going to fall for Ibrahimovic. Oh, come on! Davy Beckham. Oh, goodness me! Yes, Giassi, can he do it? Yes, he can! Robbie Keane continues to captivate. Back from the dead. LA Galaxy level things up. It is over. The Los Angeles Galaxy have won their 6th MLS Cup.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Clash of Cosmos, episode 26. Only two very attractive human beings on the podcast today. No Mila, no Dari. They are moving in together, so congratulations to them and their partnership. So from here on out, they will probably be recording together, which is great.
You're definitely a little jealous.
I am too. I'd love to live. I already lived with Mila once. Love to do it again. I doubt my girlfriend would be very happy about that, but that's all right. Plug. On our way to 100 subscribers. This is episode 26, so we eclipsed the 25th mark, last episode, which is great, and we're continuing to see growth. Loved connecting with people on TikTok, so go and follow us there or on any of the socials. Go ahead and follow Andrew. He'll plug his stuff at the end of the episode, but it'll also be in the description. Jeez, if I can get my words out here. Anyways, let's jump into today's episode. Since we last recorded, the Galaxy actually won a game. That's cool.
Yeah,
they then proceeded to lose the more important of the two games, and now we have a Super Bowl on Sunday. But let's start positive because we always start negative. So let's start positive. Andrew, we won a game 3-0, and it was largely due to the children. So I will let you have the stage here.
Yeah, a bit of, showing from the daycare, like you mentioned, really reminiscent of the beginning of the season when we're plagued by a ton of injuries, and we saw a lot of players like Miller, like Tucker Lepley especially. So really great to see them, get some minutes again. I feel like they had a really great showing in that initial run and that they've deserved more minutes, especially with the first team not necessarily doing what you'd want them to be doing in the league. You'd think it's a perfect time for maybe some more competition to step in, kind of raise the levels, give these younger kids a shot, who in my eyes proved that they deserved it. A bit of a shame that it took this long for us to see that. But overall, I think they killed it. You look at the ratings, a lot of green, especially from these young guys. Elijah Winder, really great game from him. Sanabria, I feel like a return to form a little bit, or maybe at least getting to form in the eyes of some for the first time. Harbor Miller, really, really standout performance from him. And, Tucker Lepley, also another beast. So really, really stoked on this performance. 3-0, a clean sheet with Marcinkowski in net. His first start in 2 years, I think, longer than 2 years, after he blew up his knee with San Jose. Yeah. So really, really great for him. Wasn't too busy, which, as a keeper sucks, because you're honestly, you're bored. You're just standing there. You might as well be on the bench. You feel like for your first game in 2 years, you want to see some action. But at the same time, that's also what you want. You want your front line to be doing your back line, to be helping you out. And with Chris Rindov starting in, another MLS debutant, really, really strong performance from him in a back line that the Galaxy have, kind of been begging for someone to step up. So all in all, just really, really great performance. Yamane, I feel like one of his better performances in a really long time, getting himself a brace of assists to Miller and to Winder. Really just, the experience setting up these young guys to thrive. It's just beautiful, beautiful match. Perfect 3-0. It felt like the perfect, way to step into this Leagues Cup game. But, we know how that went. But besides that, let's, stick on this game for now. Just solid all around. Yeah. Really, really, Cerrillo, I felt like took a big leadership role as well in that middle of the park.
Mm-hmm. He had the armband, right?
He did. Had the armband, and he played like a captain, especially with Sanabria, Winder, two younger guys, inexperienced. The big criticism at the beginning of the year for Cerrillo, especially, there was a lot of talk on Cerrillo, how he was underperforming, and a lot of people put that to the younger supporting cast he had. But I feels like time has done its thing. The younger guys have learned their roles a little bit, and Cerrillo has stepped into this leadership role this year. It's been a challenging year for him. But I feel like he's grown a lot in that sense, really having to carry the midfield on his back. And he seems really, really capable of doing that now. And I think that bodes really nicely for next year. But just stellar stuff. Harbor Miller becoming the second youngest Galaxy player to score a goal. 18 years old, freshly 18 too.
Yeah.
Tucker Lepley he's I believe 24, but really, you know, arguing for some more minutes. Just I love the energy he brings, the dynamism. He's a hound, in every sense of the word. So really just loved it. Yeah, can almost you can't run out of good things to say about this performance. So really stoked on it. Definitely left you feeling a little bit warm and unfortunately a little bit hopeful for that next game. But it
Yeah.
was really good stuff.
It was refreshing at the very least. Like,
Great.
I left the match feeling like, wow, what a complete performance from start to finish. Like, the Galaxy were in control. Like, maybe there was some portions where we weren't great, where Colorado took the ball. But look, this is a playoff team that they were up against, and this was a heavily rotated side that has essentially 3 veteran players in it. I'm not going to count Barry. I don't think he's got enough minutes to consider him a vet. But between Zonka, I guess 4, Marsikowski, Yamane, and Cerrillo, like, that was it. Everyone else was like, and Nelson too. But it's just a heavily rotated side. Sorry, I didn't formulate that sentence before I said it. It was good to see this team perform in that way and show some energy and some verb and play with some spirit. I thought that the difference between this match and any match this season is we actually won the midfield. And I think that strictly comes down to Cerrillo not having to do everything, which I'm going to get into a little bit later when we kind of do our tactics breakdown. But it was refreshing to watch us win a game and it come through the middle of the park. I thought Lepley coming into those half spaces and Miller coming in as well, we just looked a better team. We looked more complete. This is the version of a team that Vanny wants to play. And I think you mentioned it after the game. Like, Vanny deserves credit for the way that every player that's played from Ventura up knows the system, knows how to play in the system. And I think this season, due to injuries and Ricky being out, we've had to divert from the system a little bit and change the way that we've played. And I think Vanny's gotten some slack for not making changes. I think that unfortunately he's had to make a change to a system where it hasn't worked out. But this game proved that there is a way for this Galaxy team to be successful, even when your stars aren't playing. I am ridiculously high on Tucker Lepley. I don't know what it is about the guy. I want to call him a kid, but like you said, he's 24. I just think that he's built to be an MLS player. He's built to be a winger in this league. I think he can do a lot for you as a team. I've got my suspicions that one of the 2 wingers are going to be leaving this summer. I don't think you can have a summer or this season this bad and be this porous defensively in 3 or 4 seasons in a row and not spend the money on that spot. I think it's going to happen. And I think that either Peck or Paintsel will make a return or a start in Europe. It's just my gut feeling. I don't know if I'm right or wrong. I have no sources. I'm not a reporter, but that's just how I feel. And I think that Tucker Lepley is one of those characters that can fill that role. And I'm ready to get on the bandwagon as soon as everybody else wants to start building that train. Or maybe I'll lead it. Who knows? I am just so high on him as a character, as a talent. I just think he can do a lot of really good stuff. What are your thoughts on Lepley?
Yeah, I mean, a stud. Going back again to that start of the season, we were playing Conca Champions, which is a tournament that we're going to be that's really involved in our Super Bowl on Sunday. But we were in that tournament, and him and Miller, they had to step in a lot for that, and also in the league. And it's just a lot of the same. Whenever he's on the pitch, he brings a level of energy. Just again, I call him a hound, and it's not something that I've seen for a lot from this team. Is just when we look at our bad performances or how slow we start, which is a big thing with these Vanny teams, there's just no energy. No one seems awake. No one seems really ready for the game. That's not the case when Lepley is on the pitch. I would say the same for Harbor Miller as well. They just have this ability to, just go from the first whistle,
Yeah.
which sounds, not like the bare minimum for, I believe, a professional athlete, but
You'd
it's
be
not something we've
surprised.
seen a lot in this team.
You'd be
Exactly.
surprised.
You'd be surprised. And, we didn't see that on Sunday, which is something we're going to talk about. But when we talk about the changes maybe Vanny can make, it's playing these young guys because you can, will yourself to a win a lot of the time. We have amazing talent on this team, but it seems like the will just isn't there 100% of the time.
Yeah.
And that's the bare minimum to compete in any league, especially this one that's so high intensity, that's so, heavy pressing. So when, yeah, I mean, a face like Tucker, like his profile is just super, super refreshing. And I think, you're spot on. In the past couple of days, there's this reported offer from Getafe for Paintsel. Around 12 million is the reported number. This is from some kind of rinky dinky source, let's say. I don't know too much about them, but these are, more credible whispers. A couple of weeks ago, we had the same thing, La Liga offer for Gabriel Peck. So these are things that are becoming a lot more solid. And as we talk about the Galaxy planning for 2026, those are big, massive DP spots and we could use that in other areas of the pitch. If you think defensively, where, like you mentioned, we've been so porous the past decade, really.
Yeah.
The Galaxy it feels like, have never really been known for defending, and that's kind of been our Achilles heel this year. So why not maybe get a DP caliber center back? That really feels like a major need, and put someone in like Tucker Lepley in that winger role, who I feel like has earned it. It's interesting because we just saw Johnny Perez leave, another player who we said had that energy, that tenacity, and he looked like a great MLS swinger, and he's proved that in Nashville. But he went ahead and made that move permanent. And Gino Vivi, sort of a similar thing. And it's just this idea that Galaxy Academy products, it's almost impossible for them to really make their place in the first team. It's a trend that I don't necessarily like. I understand when we're bringing in these big names, but it feels, a little bit unbalanced when we're investing so much in our attack. But what we constantly year on year say that we need to improve is our defense. Maybe we can, have two amazing attackers and one of Pecker Paintsel and one of Ricky Puig, and maybe spend a little bit of that energy on the defense as well. And when we have someone like Tucker Lepley, these players who can provide, why not make the most of it? In the past couple of years, there's so many names, from your Billy Sharps, whose departure was pretty controversial, to your Tyler Boyds. We've, been blessed with so much attacking talent that we've been, I feel like, too happy to let go. I'd love to see that trend change, but, we'll see. This is all just, speculation. But Tucker Lepley, I feel like, is another name on that list that can do a job for you. And if you have that, make the most of it. I don't really see the point of letting him sit on the bench when, again, we talk about all this energy, which is something that we need, this spark that we need to actually compete. Why let that rot away, or why trade it away for like 500K in GAM when that doesn't do too much for you? So he's a player that I'm super high on as well. I've had the chance to speak with him early on in the season during that CONCACAF Champions Cup run, and wish him the best, absolutely. And I hope this team gives him the ability to just continue showing his talent. I feel like he's really entering his prime MLS years. So if he could do that in a Galaxy shirt, I'd be stoked.
Yeah, look, this league is becoming a lot better, and the talent pool within the league is becoming a lot better. Kuntz with LAFC was able to find gems within the league, and that's really what had catapulted LAFC to being consistently good year over year. It's finding that talent within the league and surrounding your DPs with that talent. I mean, if you look at LAFC right now, like, their team is based off of a lot of the talent that he brought in from within the league. Hollingsted, like, you could go through their back line, and all of it is a lot of just good MLS talent. And so it's going to be vital, and we'll talk about it more in the later pods to come because there's going to be not a lot to talk about. The Galaxy are going to have to find talent within the league, and they're going to have to probably move off a DP. That's just my opinion, but we'll see. But before we get into the future, let's go pessimistic. Let's go super fucking sour. The Galaxy lose 2-0 because of course they do to Seattle. In the last two matches, we have lost by an aggregate score of 6-0.
That is hard.
Man. It's tough. I mean, we're gonna bring up the JLA tactics board. So shout out to James Alcott. I know that. For those you don't know him, go follow him. Like, he's the man. If you ever need a tactics board, you want to go through tactics yourself and play around with stuff like this, like, there's no one better in the business, and JLA does this all for free. So let's jump into it. Andrew, these are your clips. So I'm gonna sit here and be your artiste while we break down why the Galaxy lost 2-0 to Seattle.
Yeah, so I'll just preface it by kind of reiterating what I just talked about when we talk about all the good things from that Colorado performance. None of that translated to this performance against Seattle. I put an article after the game, and it felt like we left all of our hope, all of our energy back in the Rocky Mountains. We just didn't bring any of it with us here. And these screenshots are from the first goal and kind of talk a little bit about, it's just to exemplify how we didn't have that energy. We didn't come out ready to compete from the first whistle. And, that's ultimately what killed us. So here, this is the start of not really the start, but really the build up to that first Seattle goal. And I want to highlight Zonka there. You can see him sprinting, trying to cover. I forget his last name at the moment. It's a bit of a long one, Brazilian. But De La something, Seattle's 95, the eventual goal scorer. He's about to get played in by Christian Roldan. He's into space, and there's Zonka sprinting. You could argue in a bad position to start with, but trying to get back. But he's sprinting, which is a good thing. He's showing something. In the very next clip is where I have an issue. As soon as that striker gets, a little bit past him, he just starts jogging. He immediately slows down. The play is nowhere near over, but in that frame, he's already slowed down, which makes no sense to me. You're still close to him. You can still compete for the ball. And you have a striker running towards your goal. And you're like the primary center back. You don't just stop in the middle of the park. That's something that really, really irritated me. And, it's a trend that continued in the rest of that sequence, especially, but throughout the game. So I think we can jump over to the next slide, which is after that initial shot is taken. I want to highlight Julian Aude and Rothrock. They're in similar situations, but their body positions is just so different. Similar area of the pitch. They're, about equally as close to the ball. To be fair, Julian Aude is maybe a couple of steps behind, but you can see the entire Galaxy back line is doing that same thing Zonka was doing in the last shot, just slowing down when the play is alive, which is something I don't understand at all. The only explanation is that maybe they expected Mikovic to make that catch, but he doesn't. And to me, it's so clear. It's clear that he's going for a parry. But So if he's going to parry the ball is alive in your box. Why is the entire back line slowing down? Why is nobody alive reacting to the play? Another thing that irritated me a bunch. And in that next clip, you see Rothrock there, miles ahead of Aude, miles ahead of anyone else. But he was the only one in the entire frame to actually react to the rebound. And he created, the chaos, earned a penalty. I don't think I sent you the screenshot of that image, but I got some files from the team at Imgur. And there's a fantastic photo showing Mikovic there committing a penalty on Rothrock. So even if they didn't score, we were screwed anyway. But all of that comes from Rothrock actually reacting to the play while the Galaxy backline was sleeping. He's the only one. You can see how far Rothrock had to travel from where they started in that last clip. How far he went and how far Aude went, I feel like it's laughable. I mean, Aude is basically in the same spot, and Rothrock is all the way over there, already at the ball. It just shows you the mentality of both teams. One team giving up before the play is even halfway done, as if like they're okay with getting scored on, and the other team, doing everything to fight and actually create a goal. They created their own luck, and the Galaxy, they just created their own misfortune by not doing jack, essentially.
Yeah.
And, that's just the first goal, but it's really just encapsulates what went wrong in that game. No energy, no spark, just not being alive, not wanting to play. And when this is the game that the messaging has been for the past couple of weeks, this is our MLS playoff. This is our Super Bowl, as you said it. This is everything we're playing for. The only chance at a trophy that matters this year, and that's the energy you bring to this game. It's despicable to me. I'm a big, I feel like I have this reputation for being a Vanny D writer, like just overly optimistic. But I mean, they really, really earned this criticism, so I'm laying it into them now. That's just awful. And, you really expect heads to roll when that's the type of performance you come up with on what's essentially a final. So really, really poor. And I mean, that first goal just shows it all. So awful.
Yeah, it's unacceptable is what it is. This is elementary school shit.
Mm-hmm.
This is just not being attentive. This is not being aware. You picked out 4 perfect clips because it all comes within the same
20 seconds.
kind of 20 seconds. So you've got Roldan plays him in. Zonka gets beaten behind. Yoshida goes and makes the recovery run, which leads to the shot, right? It's a good save.
Mm-hmm.
And
Brilliant save.
to expect your goalie to make this save and not have any other help is crazy to me. And the fact that Zonka and Cuevas, because Cuevas gets a lot of slack here from me too, because Aude, I get it. He thinks he's out of the play. And he actually, the run that he makes to kind of get on the goal line afterwards kind of makes up a little bit for it. It's not great. Like, nobody's in the right here. But
But he actually did something compared to everyone else.
yeah, I mean, he still gets blamed because obviously this is terrible. And that's his man. Yoshida and Zonka here. We just quit playing? Do we just decided we're not going to play anymore?
I didn't hear a whistle. Like,
And,
what is the reason to stop?
and Cuevas too. Like, this is unacceptable. This is the same 2 seconds. I can't. It's baffling to me. I don't have the words to explain like how elementary this is. This is just defense, and you're talking about two Premier League center backs. Yoshida and Zonka are two Premier League proven center backs. Zonka has seen this happen before. And it leads to a goal. And the Galaxy needed to get off to a hot start in this game. And the fact that they were unable to is because of this. I'm going to jump to the next clip because it's just before your clip that you put in here. It's we're at the 409 minute here. There's a ball that is, so Cuevas pushed the ball in deep to like the guy who got sent off. I can't remember his name. He then plays this like lofted crap, booted up to their striker thing. The ball's in the air for like 10 seconds. That's a little bit of an exaggeration, but it's in the air forever. Zonka is in fucking no man's land. What is this? You're not defending Ferreira. You're not attacking the ball. What are you doing? What is this? I wish I could draw a circle around him because what is this positioning? That happens at 4 minutes. It happens at 4 minutes, and then you go back to your clips that you put in here 2 minutes later, and we're looking at Zonka again in no man's land. Who is he marking? What is he marking here? He's not pressing the player. He's not pressing the striker. He's not on the winger. Where is Zonka? He's just constantly caught in La La Land. And this happens at 4 minutes into the game? I knew it right away. Once the game started and Zonka was put into any situation, it was over. And not having Garces in this match, I think, cost us the chance to win it. It cost us the chance to win it.
You could even argue, Chris Rindolph at this point would have. I
Yeah.
mean, he put in a really, really strong performance. I felt like in Colorado, just solid. He knew where to be, and we're talking about a kid just coming up. Recently graduated from college. He's moved around from a couple MLS teams, but not much experience. And we're comparing him to this, like you said, Premier League proven center back. And the difference we're talking about at the end of the day is, play to the whistle, be alive to the play. That's something that you hear your first week of ASL.
Yeah.
So
Damn straight it is.
it's ridiculous. It's the perfect word for it. I like what you said. Where is Zonka? I felt like that could have been, the title of the episode.
Yeah. It could have been the title of every time he's played this season. And right when he started to put in some decent performances, of course.
Yeah, he had a good run of like 5-ish games, looking solid. That game against Colorado, again, he looked really good too, but he left that in the Rocky Mountains. To repeat myself,
so.
It just makes no sense at all.
It doesn't.
And what's really shocking to me is that, that lack of energy, that lack of, playing like it's a final, that lack of attitude was just throughout the team. When recently we've put, in performances where it felt like there was a lot of bite, a lot of fight. We think of, the quarterfinal match against Pachuca. I feel like I really praised the team for matching the intensity levels and feeling like they were there from the first minute. Marco Royce, we saw Diego Fagundes, everyone just really be up for it, putting in challenges, getting stuck in, having that energy, that right mentality, which again is the bare minimum. You need to play like you're playing a final. They did that against Pachuca. They did solid again in Colorado. And then in the game that matters most for them, that would have guaranteed your ticket into C.O.C, that would have put you in a final, in your worst season of all time. It's just, where did all of that go? Where's the mentality? Where's the energy? What was the messaging in the locker room? It's inexplicable to me. Inexplicable. I really hope, Vanny laid into them after the match at halftime, but where did all of that go?
Yeah. Where did it all go? No pride, no energy, no effort. I don't think Vanny deserves any blame for this loss. I'm gonna pull up some stuff tactically because it's something that I've noticed over the last since we started to play better, but still not great. That I want to go into, and these next couple of frames kind of highlight it. And Seattle ran the system that Vanny is trying to play right now to a T. We unfortunately don't have the personnel to run this. I'm going to highlight two players in particular and I'm going to go back to your first clip, but this game was dominated by Jesus Ferreira for me and by Christian Roldan. And look, we're talking about two of the best MLS talents of the last decade, but the spaces that they were able to pick up in the middle of the park highlights just the inability for the Galaxy to play any other way. So this comes off of the Galaxy in possession. There's a turnover in play. Jesus Ferreira is in miles of space. He ends up, sorry, I'm going to use a different line here, actually. He ends up playing a lofted through ball that leads to a one-on-one straight through the park. Just, I mean, he's got options everywhere, right? I'm going to highlight two players here because this is my biggest issue. Cerrillo and Fagundes are trailing three players here. And that's from a tactical discipline and tactical point of view, that's unacceptable to me. These are the issues where I look at Vanny's system and I go, either like Ricky can't be this important or we're just not playing the shape that he wants to play. Because you have Peck, Paintsel, and Royce and Barry, because I thought Barry actually fell kind of flat to this too, where they just weren't doing enough defensively. They weren't pressing well enough, and Seattle were just totally fine with letting us play with the ball. And most teams are. The way that this play finishes off is Cuevas gets beaten behind here. Zonka. What's Zonka doing, right? Who knows? And then they get in behind on a one-on-one, and this run where you're asking Yoshida to keep up with a young striker, good luck. And he just gets beat, and it's kind of a messy play at the end here, but they get a one-on-one chance. Mitrovic makes a big save. If there was anything that I learned from this match, it was Mitrovic has been very good, and he's deserved the one spot. I've got nothing good to say about the team as a whole, though. That just some of the stuff is unexplainable to me. I wanted to jump into the actual tactics board side of it because just quickly, and then we can we can move on to Orlando. The formation that we set up in when you just look at it on paper is a 4-3-3, right? Let me get some of these names out of here real quick. But every single time we line up, you're looking at, in my opinion, it's actually a 4-2-3-1, right? You've got two deep lying playmakers, or a DM and a playmaker, which is Fagundes. In front of them, you have Royce. And then where are my other two? Paintsel and Barry. Cool. I'm just gonna leave Yamane in there. Cuevas is obviously the guy who started there. So this is how it looks on paper. This is how it plays out of possession. This is how it plays in possession. So you get Peck advanced, Barry advanced, Paintsel advanced. Royce comes and gets the ball, right? That was the goal, was to try to get Royce on the ball. Roldan pretty much marked Marco Royce out of the game. So this didn't happen. The issue in that last clip is what you see is Royce and Peck have this connection together where usually Nascimento helps out here. But it leads to Fagundes getting dragged into these areas. So if we look into, let's see if I can change the board here to the attacking portion. Here we go. So when we're in possession, Barry's here. Fagundes gets pushed into this position. Cerrillo's down here. Yamane or Cerrillo is overlapping. Royce is up here with Peck up here. So this is how it looks when we have the ball. And the issue is we get stuck in this corner. We don't change the formation. We don't change the style. Like, the ball gets stuck in this corner, and immediately when there's a turnover, right? The other team has someone here who gets the ball, and now Cerrillo's trailing the play, Fagundes is trailing the play, and it's a 3-on-1 or a 3-on-3, usually, which is training ground stuff, against good talent. And when we play good talent, they tear us apart. And this is what happened multiple times. Roldan got the ball here. Ferreira got the ball here. And they just beat us every single time. The game could have been uglier than 2-0. We're lucky that it was only 2-0. Their striker takes his one-on-one chances. We lose by 4 again. And we didn't create any chances. Out of possession, I'm also seeing issues because when we lose the ball, the shape's actually not awful in theory because it's a 4-4-2. What ends up happening is you end up dropping in these two guys. Peck and Paintsel drop into the midfield. And because Royce is 150 years old, unfortunately, he ends up playing up top with Barry. So this is your out of formation, out of possession tactics here. And so what happens is it takes one ball. It takes one ball to beat this initial press. And you're looking at pretty much both teams are able to put their fullbacks up or their wingers beat someone in behind. And you've just got training ground level actions. And Cerrillo's being asked to go over here. And then he's being dragged over here. And it's just this constant give and take of when we have the ball, we don't have anything we can't do anything unless Marco Royce pulls it out of his ass. Right. And then we push into kind of this territory of when we don't have the ball, we're just not good enough defensively. And this is why I think a center back is so vitally important, because if that's how you're going to play, and that's how we're going to play when Ricky comes back, either the midfield needs to have more reinforcements at all time, or you need to have a better center back. And he needs to be the partner with Garces. Because you're asking for space to be open.
Yeah, the only way to defend in those situations. Great job with that, by the way. I feel like you couldn't have outlined it any easier, any clearer. But that defensive, situation that we find ourselves in is just so vulnerable. Only way to defend that is with a defender with pace and a defender who knows where to actually stand, who knows where to be. It can be so easy to defend those situations when you're in the right place to cut out passing lanes and you slow down the play and allow the team to actually get back to that 4-4-2. But what we saw so often was just pockets of space wide open from players, like you mentioned, like Fagundes and Cerrillo trailing the play, and then from Zonka being in no man's land, and Yoshida maybe being in the right spot, but not necessarily having the pace to recover. So it's just a triple bogey there. And it just comes down to that. We have Garces. We have the fastest player in the league. Now let's put somebody next to him who actually can stand. It's so simple too. Who can actually stand, who knows where to be. It's just, I don't know. It can't, this play style can't work. We've seen Vanny style work, but we need the personnel. And like you mentioned, we just don't have it. So I think spot on analysis from you with all of that. I think it's so obvious where we need to improve next year.
It's the curse of the LA Galaxy this season. Injuries, personnel, misshape, and getting a little unlucky. That's been kind of how this season has felt. But it all leads down to this. Super Bowl Sunday. Super Bowl Sunday against Orlando. It's a must-win. It's the only must-win game this whole entire season. The Galaxy win, and in the worst season ever, they secure a CONCACAF Champions Cup spot. And if they lose, we have nothing to play for until technically October, where there's that weird trophy. But there's nothing to play for. There's nothing to look forward to. And then we as a podcast have to talk about I don't even know what for the next 2 months because it's going to be rough. Yeah. I know nothing about Orlando, unfortunately. I don't know a ton about them. They have a lot of really good talent. They went toe-to-toe with Miami. The ending of that game was so fucking Miami.
The middle of that game, I feel like there's a lot of that game that was just very Miami. I'd be very, very butthurt if I was an Orlando fan right now. I feel like they definitely deserve to maybe be in that final.
Yeah, they've got really good talent. I think Muriel is one of the best strikers in the league. Mm-hmm. Obviously came from Italy and has been a good player for a long time. Their best player, in my opinion, is Freeman, their right back, which is going to be a very interesting matchup between him and Paintsel. He was a USMNT member this summer. He really shined at the national team level, but has been really good all season. I think he was linked with the move to Europe, but Orlando denied it. And then I think he re-upped a contract extension. So that sucks because I'd rather them not have him. But this is a good team. It's MLS opposition, which we, for whatever reason, cannot play normal footy against.
Mhm.
Now the question becomes, what the hell do we do? How do we attack a team that again is playing a very similar system to us? They have a very good striker, a couple of really good wingers, and then arguably one of the best right backs in the entire league.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
But we did, I hate to say this, but we did okay against them earlier in the year, back in March. There
That's true.
was that we fumbled away a win. We threw away a win against them. We were leading for a vast majority of the game, and then it's like a 70-minute goal, and then a 93-minute, blunder from John McCarthy, one of his last
Totally
contributions
forgot
for the
about
club.
that.
Yeah, but
Forgot about that.
we gave away all 3 points essentially. We really could have come away from that game in a win. And that's, a Galaxy side that hadn't had a win at that point of the year. And it's, more largely the same team from Orlando. So there's, some hope there that we could come up with another good performance. But I mean, just seeing what we did against Seattle doesn't really fill you with hope. If we go with that same lineup, I'd really, really advise Vanny to consider playing a lot of the players from that Colorado game. Namely, maybe it's so hard to justify. It's so weird to say this, but it's hard, but it's easy to justify dropping one of Painter or Peck for Tucker Lepley. I feel like you spent all this money on them, but they're not performing, they're not delivering, and when you're not getting the energy that you just so vitally need to start these must-win games, you got to do something about it. I don't feel like you could just keep on coming up with that same lineup. I want to see Chris Rondolph in center back. I don't want to see Zonka. I'm praying. I'm okay with him and Maya. I'm okay with Rondolph and Garces even. Two kind of wild cards, but I feel like just in pure fight can make up for the experience,
Mm-hmm.
Harbor Miller, same sort of situation, same argument with Lepley. Another dog, just someone who's extremely talented, but has also that drive, that passion to go all 90, all 60 minutes, Start them, let them wear out Orlando, let them compete, get a feel for a game, and, give us that energy that we had against Pachuca. Give us, some more fight. And then, I wouldn't be mad at seeing Painter or Peck later on in the game against maybe some more tired legs. Let them do something, maybe fight for their spot. Is it something that I think is going to happen? I don't know. But seeing how we did against Orlando or Seattle, I think that's the only way we compete, much less win this game. We need some energy. We need to bring some competition. We need these players to feel like their spots are at risk. And when we have players to do that, to scare them a little bit.
I forgot that they have. I can't pronounce his name. I think it's Ojeda, Ojeda. It's their cam.
Mm-hmm.
He's got 14 goals and 9 assists on the season. He's their main guy. I totally forgot about him for whatever reason. He's been one of the best players in the entire league this season. And to a point of like why I just spent like a whole 5-minute rant on formations and tactics, you have to pack the midfield and you have to mark him out of the game. The best way to do that is by assigning Cerrillo to him and saying, hey, Cerrillo, go and mark him out of the match. Put him out of the game. And the only way that you can do that is by playing another midfielder in there. And so the question becomes, if Nascimento is unable to go, because I think that's what this will rely on. If Nascimento is unable to go, I think you play Marco Royce in the false 9 and you put Elijah Winder in the midfield or Sanabria, one of the two. And you say, we're going to pack the midfield with Cerrillo, one of those two guys, and then Fagundes as your 10. And look, it's going to be more of a flat back 3. Look, Fagundes might take a deeper role in that. I don't really know. But what I do know is that's the best way for this team to win this match. I think there's also an argument to be made that, and we didn't talk about him a lot in the Colorado match, but Yamane for me it's teetered back to Yamane being a better presence in this team with its current needs than than Cuevas. And I'd like to see Cuevas as the impact guy off the bench again for this particular matchup, because I think with the idea of winning the midfield, Yamane does that better with his ability to invert. So there's a couple of different ways that Vanny can play this, but I don't think you can go into this matchup and not win the midfield, and you have to mark out that guy with Cerrillo. So give Cerrillo a boost and a platform to actually fucking play and not make him be Superman all game, every game. Like, get back to Royce getting the ball, and that's the false nine is a great way to get him the ball, and then have Peck and Paintsel blasting up the wings. And if it doesn't work, to your point, you have to make adjustments. You have to make changes. And if Peck's not at the races, like he wasn't at the races in this match, then bring on a Lepley or bring on a Harbor Miller. And the same thing goes for Paintsel. Like, if those guys aren't going, there's unfortunately no more time for moral victories or for they'll figure it out at some point because there are DPs. Like, this is a must-win game. You have to make must-win decisions. And I know for a fact that these kids can impact the games because we just saw it. So, yeah, Andrew, I'm going to turn it back over to you. Let's do your star player and your prediction for our Super Bowl Sunday against Orlando.
Not very fun, there's just not a lot of optimism going into it. But again, if Vanny makes these changes, I do think we have what it takes to compete what we have to win. It's just not in the same starting 11 we had against Seattle. Star player, I'm going to give it to Cerrillo. He's going to, like I think you just said, we can't, have him be Superman all 90 minutes, but I think you summed it up perfectly. We need to really control the midfield. It's what gave us the victory against Colorado. You pointed that out as well. And Cerrillo is going to be instrumental to that. A Sanabria, a Winder, a Fagundes, they're all going to be his supporting cast. But the main objective there is going to be, let's set Cerrillo up to lock this down. If he can do that, then, it really gives us a shot from just everything else. It really allows us to get Royce into the game, which alone could, unlock a lot for us. If, Peck or Paintsel aren't creating things themselves, it'd be nice to have Royce, do that for them. And for that to happen, we're going to need Cerrillo to succeed. It's just this domino effect, and it starts, with him. So he's going to be my star player. Prediction, it's going to be a tough one. Really, really tough one. I think 2-2, we win on penalties.
It's so funny. I was thinking the same thing, so I'm gonna have to change my prediction. But wow, squeaky bum time, right? At the digs.
Yeah, we'll have the supporters groups back. Maybe that'll give us a little bit of a boost.
Gotta fucking hope so.
Yeah.
Here we go, man. Super Bowl Sunday. It's got to happen. It's got to happen.
Last meaningful game. Sorry to cut you off, but it's the last game that means anything.
Meaningful game.
You didn't show up against Seattle. You have your fans coming back now. You absolutely have to show up now.
Fucking put your nuts on the table. And if they get chopped off, they get chopped off. Like, you gotta stick it to them. Gotta go and win this match. It means everything. This should mean everything. And for Orlando, it's going to mean just as much. Like, this CONCACAF Champions Cup is not something to get sniffed at. And so if you have a chance to go and get it, this is going to have a finals atmosphere to it. It just is. It just is.
Especially, they feel so hard done by after that Miami match. They're going to be coming for revenge. They're going to, want an opportunity to give them some continental revenge, whatever it is. But they're going to be playing with the balls on the table, like you said.
Yeah.
They're really going to give it their all. So it's going to be fiery.
We have the upper hand. We have more we have to have more motivation. We have to have more grit. We have to have more fight. They have to travel to LA from Florida from a midweek game against Miami. So they should be at the disadvantaged portion. So we have to bring all that stuff that I was saying. And the person that has brought that energy every single match, regardless of if he's been good or not, has been Joseph Paintsel. And so he's my star player. We are at our best when Joseph Paintsel has been at his best. He's a big game player. When we've needed him to be a big game player this season, throughout this competition, he has showed up. And we are a better side when he plays well. I think that in the final last year, he was the reason that the game started off so well. And the reason we were able to win it is because he got on the front foot early, in digs, got the crowd behind it, and got the goal. And that's why we won. So I'm going to go with a 2-1 victory, getting us CONCACAF Champions Cup. And I think Joseph Paintsel gets both goals. Because I fucking need it. I need it more than I need air at this point. This season has sucked so much that I need our most charismatic, energetic, and honestly, he's my favorite player on the team just because I love his personality. I need him to step up in this moment and take us to the next level. That's what he was brought here to do. These are the games where we need Joseph Paintsil to be at his best. So I'm just gonna pray to all of the gods, all of them, that the Galaxy are able to do something here. Oh, I forgot to add you to the stage. Sorry. Because if we don't do it, look, this has been the worst season to start a podcast in maybe the history of seasons to start a podcast, Andrew. I don't
Yeah.
I don't know how we got here. Might be cursed, but this would be a good ending. This would be a good ending to the podcast.
That's
I
a
don't
little
know.
story. Way to end it, right?
Yeah. I've got nothing more than I want to say.
Mhm.
Do you have anything more you want to talk about?
Um, Not really. I feel like we said it all. It's just this is everything. This is gonna set up 2026. Uh, if we want to be a serious club, we have to be into CCL. And again, us with CCL with Ricky Puig, and please, Kuntz, please, some additions in key areas of the pitch. I feel like we're not that far from being back to that 2024 team. Maybe even a better version of that. I see so many good pieces there in Nascimento and Cerrillo and these kids. For the future. It's just, can we capitalize them and can we give them a platform to show how great they can be? It's just so much is depending on this one game, and I don't know. We have nothing else to fight for. Just go out and do it, please. That's all there really is left to say. If you can't get it done, it's scary times in Carson.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it
You
is.
think of the supporter groups coming back, but I don't know if they're even going to want to be back for these next 7 MLS games when we've lost everything already. So it's going to be interesting, really interesting. But I feel like if we can get that win, it'll at least get the fans excited to come back to the stadium at the very least, and to see some energy back in the stands, to see it fill out a little bit, will maybe kind of start putting a band-aid on the wounds we've had to suffer throughout this year. And again, it's all about setting us up for 2026. If we can end this year with some sort of vibe in the stadium, some sort of feeling that we're behind the team and that we can push forward and that there is something to actually look forward to next year, I think that'll be good enough for me. Uh, so, but it all really depends on that. If we lose, we don't get any energy in the stands. I don't think we don't get that feeling of optimism, and we won't know. I feel like there won't be any joy until next February. So it's just for us to really have anything to hope for. It just all comes down to this Super Bowl Sunday. We said Seattle was the biggest game of the year. It would have been nice for a final to be the biggest game of the year
Against
but
Messi.
if
That would have been great.
This would have been sick. But at this point, we'll take bronze. We'll take setting us up for next year. It's all we have at this point. So yeah, just get it done, and we'll see. Anxiously waiting till Sunday.
Yeah. Well, I've got nothing more. So go ahead and plug your shite, and then we will get on out of here.
Yeah, thank you very much. Just a reminder to everyone to go ahead and subscribe to the pod. I feel like Dylan's really coming to his own, especially, go check out his TikTok. Lots of really great stuff from him. His After Dark content where he just talks about footy, on his walks, really great to see. And then his breakdowns, his 5 things I learned, just some of my favorite Galaxy content out there right now. Really good stuff. Dylan from C.O.C, I believe that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, really good stuff to check out there. And this podcast, we give it to you guys straight. We try not to sugarcoat things too much. We're not here to glaze anybody, but I feel like there can be some hope for this Galaxy season. It's something I've tried to maintain all year, and stick with us to either fuel those illusions a little bit more, or we can all cry together, and it'll be nice to have a little community to cry with. As for myself, you can find me on NGF Andrew on Twitter. I'm posting all my articles there and some clips from interviews when I get the chance from Los Angeles Sports Nation. That's the website you could check out. Subscribe for free on there. Get articles straight to your inbox. Put out a latest one after that recent loss. We talk a little bit about some changes for next year and how we can maybe start competing a little bit. We talk a lot about that here in this pod, but yeah, just some more honest coverage there, by fans, for fans. So I feel like that's what we're all about here at C.O.C. So stick along for the ride, and, win or lose, good times or bad. It's like a marriage that you hate to be in, but I'm happy to be in it with you guys.
I think I referred to it when I was talking about Manchester United, but I think we have a thing for just pain. It's a kink at this point. Yeah. So
some masochism in there for sure.
Yeah, dude. When we're recording ourselves in pain every single week, that's a kink. That's what that is.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, for your OnlyFans guys, check it out.
Yeah, honestly, at this point, we might as well start fucking monetizing the shit. We put our balls on the table for 50 minutes. I hope the Galaxy can put their balls on the table for 90 minutes. So we'll see. But Andrew, thank you as always. Please go follow him and all of his stuff. It's all amazing. Yeah, if you want to see more of our stuff, C.O.C Network on everything. But I am done talking. Andrew is done talking. Thank you guys for listening. Super Bowl Sunday, here we go. And we'll see you guys in the next one.
LA, Highland champions. They're going to go alone. Still back. What a goal. It's 6. They just cannot stop scoring. The volley from Bono. Yes. San Jose carved open with a world-class pass from Ricky Pooch. Glittering Galaxy, and Landon Donovan is the match winner.